It is Lynn. Welcome to a special episode of the Black Girl Bare Minimum podcast. I am Lynn. As I just said, I am without my girl Naja Renee. Shout out to her though. Um, yeah, this is a special episode. We're labeling this the Yap Sesh. This is the first Yap Sesh of the Black Girl Bare Minimum podcast. Um, Apologies in advance for the quality of what you're about to hear. It literally just came from me waking up one morning feeling like I need to journal and not feeling like picking up my damn journal, not feeling like getting a pen, not feeling like going to a page, just being like, I got these microphones for Christmas, about to use them. I was just trying something out. I didn't even know if this would go anywhere. Let me not talk for a long time because this is just supposed to be an intro to the special episode. But anyways, the microphone that I received was a gift and been tested for quality. I just said, hey, I have things on my heart. I have things on my mind. I need to talk. I need to get it out. And I feel like one of the main themes of our pod is authenticity, and being able to just chat, being able to be real, have real conversations with yourself, with our community. And so this kind of grew out of that. This first few episodes of the Yap Sesh that we will be testing out, because I'll have some Yap Seshes, Naja will have some Yap Seshes. We don't know exactly how many. We're not going to plan these extra. These are really supposed to be bare minimum. Unfortunately for this first one, and maybe for a while, there will not be any video associated with the Yap Sesh. I may have just put a still picture just so that we can get this up on YouTube as well. But ultimately, again, these Yap Sessions are just supposed to be just a time to just chat, just chill, be yourself, not have to worry about doing too much editing on the back end. And that's a special shout out to me, because that video editing is when all hell be breaking loose. Sometimes it'd be a little bit on me. So this is supposed to be simple for me to get some content out and still be able to have conversation and some additional content. This isn't content instead of our normal episodes. This is additional content. So you can look forward to a special episode next week as well, which will feature myself, Lynn, Naja Renee, and also our first guest. Shout out at Defined by Kai. You will hear more from her for next week's episode. But yeah, thank you in advance for listening. And I hope you enjoy this special Yap Sesh episode with Lynn. All right, y'all. Hey, hey, hey. No, that sounds fake. Okay, I gotta get used to this. I'm not about to keep like turning it off and turning it back on though. This is the first take. And this is Black Girl Bare Minimum. Or maybe. I don't know. This is actually just Lynn speaking. Um Today is January 4th, 2025. It's a new year. It's a new day. It's a new dawn. Happy New Year to y'all. Happy New Year to y'all. Sorry if you hear like a bunch of background stuff. I don't know how this mic is going to work. But shout out to my cousin Tiff. She actually bought me a little microphone for Christmas. And, we already have microphones and stuff for the pod. But this was actually helpful because I didn't have like a wireless lavalier mic. That would fit with the updated iPhone. So this was perfect. I don't know how she knew. I feel like sometimes God just has a way of like planting seeds into other people so that they can be a blessing unto others. But regardless of the fact, I just wanted to come on here and speak for a little bit. This may potentially be bonus BG Bearman content, or this may just be Danelle talking, or this may never go nowhere. I don't know. Um, but I just felt it on my heart to do like a little bit of an audio journal. And maybe this is something that we'll use for Patreon, or maybe this is something that Girl, I gotta have the chat with Naja Renee. I don't know. I just sat down and put the microphone in and press record. Like I literally just opened the damn microphone, and I was like, "Look, I'm about to just do an audio journal." But the reason why is because I was feeling very much inspired scrolling through TikTok. Um, I don't know if this context is needed, but I'm going to give it. I had a wonderful first 2 days of the new year, just as it pertains to me feeling on track to accomplish a bunch of goals, me eating right, sticking to the calorie limit that I set for myself because I do have just some goals for wellness. And I could talk about that one day, just my journey of wellness because it's a lifelong journey. Before I was calling it my weight loss journey. Now it's a wellness journey. So just the framing is so different. But that's not what I came on here to talk about. Girl, the ADHD might come through in these Nelly Lynn chats. I don't know. But yeah, first 2 days of the year started off great, very inspired. Um, Yesterday was Friday, January 3rd. A little bit weird. Just not like anything happened. Just feeling lack of motivation. Did a little bit of binge eating. Um, Fell to some vices that I've been trying to fall back on, and I don't have to get into the details of that because some shit in my life gotta be a little bit private, but I'm not that private of a person. I believe in telling people your damn business so that they can come back at you when you're wilding out and be like, bitch, you're wilding out. But regardless of that fact, um, I was going on TikTok today, this morning, and one thing about me having a setback nowadays is that I'm able to bounce back pretty quickly. So this morning I felt like more motivated again. But I was scrolling on TikTok and I have to find the girl's name. And I don't know if I go on TikTok if it's going to mess up my recording. And I really don't know her name. But hopefully I'll like put it in post when I listen back to this. Or again, I don't know if this is going anywhere, but I feel like it is. Um, but I know that her actual name is Miriam, I think. And I think when I checked, she has maybe 160,000 followers on TikTok, and she was known as like the Chick-fil-A girl. I didn't know about her, but she would come on to TikTok and be like, "Hey y'all, I hope you're having a great day. It's a beautiful day at Chick-fil-A," or something like that was like her tagline. And then she would go into discuss like different types of meals that you can create at Chick-fil-A. And I was kind of watching a little bit of a recap story of her. It just showed up on my For You page. And basically, she was saying that, actually, it was reposted onto my For You page by my loctician. So shout out to her. But yeah, so basically, Chick-fil-A had called her in for a meeting. She didn't know if it was going to be a good meeting or a bad meeting. It ended up being a bad meeting, quote unquote, because it was more so just seemed like a sign, a divine sign that Chick-fil-A was not the space where she needed to be and it was time for her to move on, and that there were greater opportunities elsewhere. But Chick-fil-A ended up dropping the ball and firing her. And these videos were getting so much traction, they were going viral, they were getting like millions of views. And Chick-fil-A fired the girl and told her that she was in violation of whatever their freaking codes are. Whatever. I don't know. You know how some like Chick-fil-A is not the most progressive of the fast food restaurants. And so she just came on there saying the reason why there wouldn't be any more Chick-fil-A videos. And when I tell you that her feedback that she got from that video and the amount of shares and the amount of partnerships and brands and just other deals and trips that came from that was just like astronomical for her. And it was really inspiring seeing her tell her story and how she went from was expecting just looking for small minor blessings. And one of the main comments, the top comments was like, you asked God for a flower and he gave you a garden. And I felt like that was so beautiful. Um, and now I feel like this is tying back to a book, The Garden Within. This is just like me ranting. The Garden Within is a book by, I don't remember the name. I gotta get the names of stuff, but again, BG Merman. Um, and I can't hold everything up in this brain. My brain only has so much capacity. But I know they had a foreword by Sarah Jakes Roberts, and it was shared with me last year by my friend Jensen. I've only gotten like halfway through the book, so oops. But it's a very good book, and it like talks about the garden within yourself and relating it back to scripture in the Garden of Eden. But regardless, um, that is just a sidebar. I will do some more mental thinking to myself if this really connects. But I feel like God is so intentional in that things in your life are going to connect like that. So I was inspired, and then I started to think about myself and my relationship with TikTok and my relationship with social media and how I feel about content creation and whether that's something that I feel like um, is really intertwined with who I am as a person and where my future could be and where I can have impact on this world. Um, and so, we're already doing Black Girl Bare Minimum, but just personally as well, I enjoy content. I like to take it in. I love movies. I love music. I have I lean more so on the fond side of social media, so I like to tweet or X or whatever the hell. I haven't gotten into Blue Sky. I just can't. I just don't know. I don't know. I think I'm now that I'm past 25. Like once the frontal lobe develops, it's hard to start taking in new social media. Like TikTok sneaked in right before that frontal lobe fully came all the way through. So I think that's why I was able to like get on the TikTok. But the Blue Sky, we're gonna have to see what happens with that and whatever else they try to give us in the future. Now that TikTok might be going away, the lemonade or whatever the hell else. I don't know. But I enjoy Instagram. I enjoy TikTok. And I actually you can follow me on TikTok too, Nelly Lynn underscore. I think it's an underscore. NELLELYNN. But an underscore. Well, something like that. You could just type up that, or you could probably just type up Denelle, DENELLE. Regardless, I've had a few TikToks get like some traction. I don't want to say like one of mine I think has gone. I guess you could call it viral. I don't know what constitutes as viral anymore because there's so much content. Like back in the day when something would go viral, everybody knew what it was. So like I could have something that went viral, but like it got like 6 million views, but is that really viral in today's and the world's so overpopulated? I don't know what's viral anymore. I'm gonna come to a close soon at some point. Um, but just tying it back to myself and how I feel about TikTok, and I have since I've gotten traction a couple of times. My most viral video was like 6 million, but I gotten something else with like 1 million views and a couple other things with like a couple 100,000 views, and without trying. So I feel like it's always me not trying is when I get traction. Like one of them was like a trend thing, like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 thing, but we did like early in the trend. Um, and then just some other things with different sounds that like people relate to or find funny. And I personally think I'm a funny person, but I also think that there's other aspects of my life that I can incorporate humor into that I am interested in sharing with the world, and want to package as some type of content, like actual content that I didn't put the bare minimum on. Um, and I think I've been psyching myself out a little bit, um, and falling more into let me put out the limited effort thing because if it only gets 5 likes, I don't care because I didn't try on it. It's like I have yapper content that gets 100 views and I'm cool with that. But if I were to put in a lot of effort into actually having like themed content or something that I want to do well and have to put effort into, am I going to be okay with that not potentially blowing up or not getting a good amount of views and like obviously from jump you have to build a community first, before you can just expect to just have views, because the things that I've gone viral for, it's not because I've created a community. It's because it was funny one time, ha ha ha, like, and move on. So I don't know. I think seeing that video or the story from the TikToker is inspiring me a little bit to just go ahead and try. I think there's always in the back of my head too the idea of the optics, because I had friends in high school, maybe a few in middle school with my little, it was like the band geeks, not band, but like theater geeks. I didn't do band. I don't know why I said that, but like the theater geeks. And they were cool, and I loved them as my friends. But when I was in middle and high school, like I did have this yearning for popularity, which a lot of people do. Um, and I wasn't the most popular person. And I've always been a chunkier girl, and I think about the optics of what it's like to be not conventionally attractive, or I mean, because now that I look at myself now, I do think like I got some conventional attractiveness going on, but like it's it's the weight thing that comes into the back of my head sometimes, and I'm I've worked through that, but I think when I think about who might see my content and who follows me on like Instagram and stuff, where I would be reposting my content, it's the same people who I was like trying to impress, like during school. And so sometimes that's in the back of my head too, of just like, oh, who Danelle thinks she a content creator now, and I don't know why that bothers me. And I think in 2025, like I think it's not going to bother me as much moving forward. I think it's slowly been fading off. Like I want my socials to be a representation of me, and to be inspiring to other people, and to help create community, and to not give a fuck about what other people are thinking. And to share the journey of getting to my not give a fuckness. Um, so I don't know. Just thoughts. Just talking, just be intentional and say that you're going to have a conversation with Naja Renee, and this is going to be somewhere. Um, it's time for me to be more intentional with things. Like even with Black Girl Bare Minimum, I think that it started with just a we gonna put up whenever, whatever, whenever, and we still are. Don't get me wrong, there's still gonna be some levels of bare minimumness on this. But I think the whole point of it was that me and Naja are people who go above and beyond for everything. And so we wanted to have space to just be real. And we can still have that space, but I still think that there can be intentionality behind the things that you are interested in life, and things that you are hoping can create community and inspire other people, while still sticking to the original goal. Because my mother would be like, girl, you editing and you doing all this? I thought this was the bare minimum. Well, gotta put in some type of effort to get something out. My mom was like, what happened to the mission? But yeah, I think regardless, I feel like a lot of people in this year are like worried about just the state of the nation, um, and just the amount of angst in the world, and the amount of fear, and the amount of people who are just over the way systems are. So there is a lot of anxiety about the year. But I think personally for myself, I think growth is going to, I mean, I'm growing every year. There's always growth. But I saw a post that said something like your year in Gemini or whatever. And some of those, oh yeah, growth is on there. Some of the things on there really like meant a lot to me. It was Gemini in 2025. Movement, family, legacy, belonging, and growth will be 5 of the themes of that year. I'm also throwing in romanticization, because I said I was going to romanticize more parts of my life this year. But I think that's real for me. Movement. I want to keep moving throughout the year. I want to be more healthy, more nimble. I feel like I'm setting the patterns for what my life will be in the future. Getting close to 30, knocking on that man door. Um, but family and legacy, and even belonging, kind of all go together for me. And I personal and my personal slash professional school life, whatever it is. I'm like doing research on like ancestry and genealogy, and I feel like all of that falls into that. And I do ultimately just want to find spaces that I feel like I belong in. And then the last one is growth. So I do feel like this is going to be a blossoming year for me. I'll put it like that. I feel like I've, in the past couple years, been planting a lot of seeds. In previous years, I was planting seeds into more rocky soil, not that fertile soil, but I think last year I did a good job at really tending and tilling my soil. Why am I just talking in metaphors? Look, I'll be dramatic, I'll be extra sometimes. But I've really been putting in the work to till my soil and really make sure that it is strong, solid ground, solid foundation for watering my seeds. And hopefully this year will be one that I'm really going to watch the fruits of my labor come to fruition and see a lot of things bloom from that. So, yeah, I'm excited for the year. I'm inspired. Thank you to the TikTok girly. Um, Thank you to my loctician for putting that on my page. And I am a woman of faith, so always I gotta thank God personally when it's just me chatting. Um, But yeah, this was a much longer chat than I thought it was going to be. Almost like a mini episode. I am going to talk to Naja and we are going to discuss in what format this will come out, because we got to have some Patreon content. Like, come on, we live in a capitalistic society. Some of this shit got to be behind a paywall. But yeah. Thank you for listening. If you listened, this is Nelle Lynn signing out. Love you. Bye bye bye.